Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I'm going to be reviewing Yaira number three because lots, and I have a lot of stuff I have to do, and I have a lot of books I have to read. So we're going to get through Yaira number three. This is the volume three, issue number three. Look at that! Look at that gorgeous cover. Isn't it great? I hope Eric July makes the action figure for her. Yes, he made a statue, but let's be honest, $500 for a statue. Um, no matter how much I like a character, I'm just not paying that kind of money on no statues, no sculptures or anything. I would love to get it, but no. But an action figure, like he has one of Ice on, and that's great and all. But if this baby come out as action figure, oh, I'm grabbing her. I'm grabbing two of them, one in the box and one for me to just play around with. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait for that. But anyway, y'all already know. I think I have made it very known that Yaira is my favorite character from the Rippaverse. Next is Blood Ruth, and then um, those are my three characters that I love the most out of the Rippaverse. Universe so far. This is the third issue, and the reason why I said Ice, Oceans, and Betrayal because of the fact that we pick up from where we left off in volume. Yaira was kind of um, hallucinating these visions that kind of exposed her back to the world because a lot of people thought that she had died in volume one, and they were like, oh, I guess she's dead, and then she's reappearing, and the world is like, why is she attacking us? But the thing about it is she's not attacking the people. These hallucinations that she's getting are physically manifesting, attacking her in her mind, in her dreamscape, and that's why she's attacking what's going on. So now she's in Spain. We see her fighting the hallucinations, and then you have a reporter named Casey Jones. No, Carrie Jones, I mean. And Carrie Jones in Yaira's mind is one of the creatures from the previous issue, but Yaira's coming at her full force until Stefina comes and knocks her away. And she was like, "Hey, remember me, Yaira?" And she was like, "Stefina, what are you doing here?" You know what I'm saying? Like, how have you been? And then they start talking in Spanish to each other, and she's like, "Don't try to pretend like you don't know what's going on. We that I'm here for my revenge for what you did to my abuela, her grandmother, right? Abuela, abuela, abuela. I said abuela. I mean um, and it looks like Stefina's getting a little bit better with her powers. She punches Yaira in there, and then Yaira was like, "Hey, this is uncalled for. We don't need to be fighting. There's bystanders here." And then she was like, "Oh, really? Well, I'm here to protect them from you." And then she's like, "No, you don't understand." And like, "No, child, you don't understand." And she was like, "I'm here for the revenge on her." And she was like, "But child, I am very sorry about Carmen." And before anything happens, Yash, her friend from the previous issue, shows up and knocks back Stefina, and then Alpha Core shows up. Now, if you guys don't know, Eric July done said that he kind of goofed on not doing Alpha Core number two because he felt because the fact that Alpha Core has been showing up predominantly in other books and comic books like Horseman and Yaira, they've definitely been major supporting cast members that he didn't feel like he needed to do number two. But now number two is coming because everybody was like, "Hey, this don't make no sense. You're doing all of this stuff, and there is literally no Alpha Core number two. Like we got three Yairas, we got three Isums, and Alpha Core is number one. And you collected them as the Rippaverse Trinity, which I already told you that's not how a Trinity works, man. You don't put a team as as your Trinity member. What you should have did is it should have been Horseman, Yaira, Isom, or Zaylen, Isom, Yaira. That's how your Trinity needs to be evolved. You need to have that kind of level of of thing. Your team, that's your main team right there of your universe is Alpha Core. You get what I'm saying? So I think that was such a mistake. I think he had got ahead of himself a little bit when he jumped with the whole Trinity thing, because I already said it didn't make any sense at all. And the fact that we're just now getting Alpha Core number two when we haven't even, you know what I'm saying? And then you release the volume, you release a volume of all of the what the first couple of you what the first two issues of ISOM, the first two issues of Yaira, and then the first issue of Alpha Core in the, and kind of really doesn't hold water to it being a Trinity. You get what I'm saying? So I, like I said, if I was you, I would just redo that whole Trinity thing. But I already know you already marketed it. But what you're gonna have to do, you're gonna have to double down on Alpha Core. But anyway, I'm sorry. This is a review of Yaira. I'm just saying. So basically, um, Brian shows up and he was like, "Look, we're here to ensure the safety of the people. You've come out, you've exposed yourself, and we're here to take you in and stop you from hurting people and stuff like that." So her and Yashul dived into the ocean water while Apple follows them, right? And they go through the gate, the magical gates or whatever that kind of loses them, where they see all of these evil spirits from the gates of Atlantis, which is kind of crazy because once again, there's mistakes in the Riververse that I don't know if Eric and them noticed. Like, see, okay, so you see how Alpha Core is fighting, going after Yashul and Yaira, right? And then evil spirits, right? Great. You think that we're gonna at least see that? Tell me why we jump to the next scene. We jump to the next scene. That's a problem. That's been an issue that's been a recurring issue that I've been noticing in some of the Riververse books. Is like they get to this action and then they jump to another scene and then we never pick back up on that action, or we don't know how it happened because that scene is supposed to be, oh, after that event. Okay, well, how did Yasul escape while the evil spirits are attacking, Alpha Core? You know what I'm saying? You get what I mean? Like, it's stuff like that that's kind of just a tad bit annoying. But anyway, back at the proxy Spain headquarters, excuse me, Yaira and Yashul come back into their civilian identities, and they talk about what's going on with everything, and they're being lectured about how do you leave $1 billion tech in the middle of the ocean. And then of course we have people questioning the TV shows. Brian Solaris being questioned by the media about Yaira and what's going on with her, and Yaira is explaining the cure that could help everybody thanks to what they found in Atlantis. And beneath the waves, we found an immortal woman who says that she's Neptune's wife. And he was like, that's absurd. There's no way. And then one of the other guys was saying like, hey, but it's a breakthrough. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, maybe we can get rich from this one. And then she was like, yeah, but but her might lead to the rest of the treasure from this is first of the many treasures from Atlantis. So then we jump back to Stefina getting worked on, and Brian confronted her about like, hey, how she was being a loose cannon, and if she doesn't want this, she needs to walk away now and never let Alpha Core seize them. But if she really wants this, she has to commit and she has to follow the rules that are established from Alpha Core. If she can't follow that, then she will be treated as a criminal. And that's pretty much where that went to. Let's see, what was it? Give me 1 second. Hold on. I'm trying to make sure I say this correctly before what's the darn thing? Hold on. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure I'm getting the correct name. Um, which I always say you got to put these people's names because you have to remember this could be anybody's first pickup. and that's what they're lacking, is like these people don't really say each other's names that often. So that becomes a problem to me, if you ask me. Like, the fact that you don't say these people's names that often. What's a Yeah. Okay, so yes. So then we cut back to, Dr. Daniels, Alonta Daniels, which you guys know is Iceland's, who, is becoming a major recurring character for a major supporting character for Yaira. Um, she she tells you, like, are you ready? Are you okay with everything that's going on? And she's like, yes. So we are ready to launch. We're ready to launch back into the ocean. Time being, take a break for a little while we do all the little things. So Dr. Rodell, Yaira, Dr. Sally Rodell, and Yashul um decided to go into the room and take a break. And then she tells Yashul that she's going to go back into the realm and she's going to sleep, so she can go to the astral plane and figure out what's going on. And she needs Yashul to watch over her body. So he agrees, and she goes to sleep, and then she falls into the spirit world of the ocean. Um, and that's where she confronts the sons of Neptune. So right here, the sons of Neptune. So she goes to sleep right here. She goes into a sleep right here, goes right there, and then the sons of Neptune's. And she was basically saying, like, your mother is a prisoner here, and so are you. You are captives of Neptune. I alone have the power to free you all. Help me, and I shall set you free, but stand in the way, and I promise to tear you apart. And then they start trying to fight her, and she was like, great, I prefer it anyway. And after she beats them, she was like, you will submit to me. And then she was like, they agreed, and she was like, good, because we will fight the nightmare Queen Magus Kazul. So now, while she's doing that, they fighting Queen Mazul right here, this little spider queen thing, alien crap thing. Lord have mercy. I don't even know what the hell that is. That's just gross. And while that's happening down in the ship, they have not while that's happening, the ship has already sat down into the opening of Atlantis, and they have um they have collected collected Lady Cleos of Atlantis. And while that's going on, Yaira is still fighting the queen, but something kind of messes up her link, and then she reveals herself where she's back on the ship, but she's locked up in some kind of chains. And then Yasuo standing by, and he's like, I'm so sorry, but he was like, I hope you would have been asleep through all this. And what's going on? We hit a flashback about what's going on with what's happening with Yaira. I mean, well, the Boonies voice many years ago, and you see these two figures. They're talking about what's going on and what's happening with everything, and then we jump back to Yaira being transported back to air a warehouse. Wait, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I'm saying, like, you see how it jumps, because for 1 minute you see how right here this happens right here, right? Now we cut to the flashback, right? This flashback, right? You see that flashback right there? And then we cut to Yaira being captured into the warehouse. And I'm just like, when did you get her to go to the warehouse though? You get what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that is annoying if you don't show the transition from it. Because if she was captured on the ship, then now all of a sudden they're in the warehouse. How did you get her out of there without people? You get what I'm saying? Now the little queen thing that she was fighting in her dreams, Queen Madness, is now here, and she's ready to kill her. And Yashua was like, no, we're gonna take her back to the planet and she will be judged through there. She's like, no, she killed my comrades from the first issue, and she will die now, you know. And he's like, no, we can't do that. We have to let her stand trial. She must stand trial against, what was it? Was it the Forsaken? She has to join the Forsaken Crystals, I believe. No, the Forsaken Pledge. And Yashul and the Magic Queen, they're arguing over what to do with Yaira, and the Magic Queen, she's trying to kill her, and Yaira's questioning her like, "Why would you betray me like this?" And he was like, "Betray you? I didn't betray you. The day you change, we were all punished for your traitorous act." The great Yashin, yes, Yasin is the god that he was talking about. So the great Yasin took it upon herself to find you and bring you justice. Of course, Yatan followed her, and the people trembled with fear with the black sorcerer Magnus Numa offered his in the hunt. When they set out to Earth to find you, I followed. I could not bear the thought of them hurting you. No, Yaira, it was you who dealt all the hurting. You were absolute savage. Yashul burned to death in the trap that you set for them. Yasin has not succumbed to her injuries. You took care of that. Enjoyed it. You told the Numerites that he would die screaming that horrible promise that you kept. No, you killed my friend a long time ago. I do not know who this murderous thing is before me, but I will allow the High Council to make the judgment of that. I am done with you. And apparently, he was there to witness all of the things that she did. You know, volume one of Yaira, and she's like, "Oh, the High Council, that'll be fun. Have you realized that you two want different things? Kisan wants me dead, and Yashua wants to bring me in. Who will be the tiebreaker?" She's like, "Don't mind me. I'll just hang here." So then, Kazun and Yashua argue over what to do, and then they start fighting each other. So while that's going on, we cut back to Doctor. Oh, what we'll see. Lord have mercy. I'm always forgetting. We cut back to Doctor Daniels. Checking the vitals of Cleos, the Queen of Atlantis, and they was like, "Where is Doctor Rodell at a time like this? She's missing her own great find." And Doctor Daniels is like, "Oh, she'll be fine. She's coming soon, or whatever. But we need to make sure that Cleo is okay, right?" While that's going on, the guy he touches the staff tries to touch the staff, and then Alito's she stepped in and she was like, Lord Neptune will be angry if anybody touches. He was like, trust me. She was like, trust me, nobody touches anything of Neptune's. And then we jump to Yashul and Yazin having a fight. So they're fighting all over, and then Yaira was able to kind of like fall asleep for a bit and then call upon the sons of Neptune. And she was like, I need your help and stuff like that. So they all appear, they help Yaira out, and now Yaira and the sons of Neptune are fighting Yasul and Yazins off. And she basically confronted Yashul, and she was like, you broke my heart. And he was like, what are you gonna do? You gonna kill me like the others? She was like, you do not know me at all, my friend. I'm afraid that this is where our story ends, friend. And she turns him in. She turns him in, and she turns in Yashul and Yasin back to Alpha Core. She was like, look, I have things to do, but I trust you to take care of them. These are the people that you want. And then he's like, hey, would you prefer me to keep them in a mystery in our relationship, wouldn't you? Are you trying to introduce me to your friends? And then she basically like soloed her, I want you to imprison these two whenever you intend to hold me and throw away the key. They're extremely dangerous and not to be trusted. My Rathians will stand guard. Sons of Neptune. You know what I'm saying? He's like, but why bring them? Believe me, they both deserve an agonizing death. I once called them both friend, and this is the title few earn. I could be your friend if you let me, Yaira. And then he was like, she was like, you're doing it right now by helping Stefina. You helping Stefina. She's the one who got in that trouble, and it's too much for a girl her age. You promised me Solaris. And then Stefina's like, wait, what? Solaris promised what? You know, while that's happening, um, she gets back to the lab, and then she's like, welcome, Cletos of Atlantis. And Dr. Rodell, she's like, finally, forgive my delay, but that dive took more out of me than I care to admit. And then Cletos, she hugs Dr. Rodell and tells her like, "Thank you for everything or whatever." And then while that's going on, the um the manager came over here, um what Javier, and then because one of the executives trying to sit up here and say, "No, we need to do this right now." And she was like, "Well, you can't tell me what to do because my boss is Javier." And Javier Cruz is basically like, "No, I don't even know who that is. I hired Maria." And he was like, "Where's Maria at?" And then um, the guy that they were talking to transformed into what was his name? No, JB Javier transforms into the Great Magnus Panine because what's his name? What's the guy's name? Whoever her boss is, I can't think of his name's not right here. They need to say his name, and I need y'all. That's another thing. I need y'all to say these people's names a little bit more often because when you're not putting names out there often, it's hard for me to remember. I ain't even about to lie to you. I ain't about to lie to you. I'm not about to keep taking notes to try to figure out these people's names, even after reading them. You know, it's so many things that's happening at once that when you do a story, you need to reintroduce some of these characters, especially when they're early on because you just don't reading these characters. You know what I'm saying? Or at least say their name. Say their name so people can be a little bit more familiarized with them. But anyway, Javier Cruz transformed into the Great Magnus Padine, the sworn leader of the Forsaken of Magi and Harbor of your doom. So he transforms into that. So that guy transforms into this guy right here. Um, and while that's going on, Dr. Rodell tells Cletos and them to run and get out of here. And Dr. Daniels a lot how you say him name? Alaton and Dr. Daniels with Dr. Rodell was like, we got to, you need to get out of here. And she was like, you can't be a hero. And then she was like, you can't be a hero neither. And while that's happening, Yara gets hit by a fire blast. While that's going on, the Castell military prison, Yashin and Yeshua, they're both arguing over what's going on. Her after the Sons of Neptune's kind of like vanishes or whatever. And while that's going on, you have Safina dreams about her grandmother, and then she's like, "You gotta save me." And then you see Yaira, leaning over her grandmother's dead body, and she was like, "It's too late. You have to save her." she said she said it's too late to save her, but you well she said it's too late again, child. It's like you might as well have killed her yourself. And then she wakes up, and then you see Ingrid. She's like, oh god, problem. She calls Solaris and tells him like, hey, look, the prisoners escape. And Dr. Rodell starts fighting the Majul. While that's going on, she transforms, she transforms out of her civilian identity into whatever. And you see them start fighting. So then above, you see you see all three of the you see all three of them, Yashul, Magis, and Yashin all together. And basically you see visions of Yaira's family, like, wife, do not abandon us. We'll be a family again. Just let go. Please, mother, why won't you come home? And and you just see the three enemies, and Yairo's like, I won't be swayed by all your talk and stuff like that. And then you see Alpha Core comes and they team up with Yaira to take on the creatures while everybody faces off against who they need to face off against. So you got Brooklyn, no, Boxwell. He faces off against what's his name? God dang it, that's what I'm trying to figure out. The Magnus Padine, he faces off against him. Solaris and Ingrid face off against Scene, and then you have Yaira and Yashul starts fighting. No, Solaris, Ingrid, and Stefina, they fight the queen, while Yashul and Yaira kind of fight while yelling at each other about their feelings or whatever that's going on. And while that's going on, Yaira's trying her best not to hurt him, but he's a little bit more powerful. And he was like, he was like, what? She's basically asking what happened to him, basically what happened to him, and he was like, everything changed when you left, and he continues to blast her, and then you see Dr. Daniels. She picks up the staff of Neptune and tosses at Yaira, and then Yaira transforms into this beautiful Valkyrie look right here. That's really cool, and uses the staff to stop Yashul and while that's on, you see the magic, the Magnus. God damn it, Lord have mercy. These words are killing it's killing my tongue tied. I am getting so tongue tied with this thing trying to say these correct names. So you have the greatness Panite. He absorbs Yashul, and while that's going on, you see the Queen and Magnus, I mean Padine, decides to like send all of these doubts into Yaira's like, you failed everyone, your family's dead, will kill you for your betrayal. And basically Yaira was like, no, you can't, I won't let you stop me, and I won't let you use the pain of the loss of my family against me. And she was like, um, Yashin, she was going to be like, so what about Carmen? And then she was like, no, I won't let you use Carmen against me anymore. And then you see Stefano was like, what about Carmen? You know what I mean? And, in her mind, and she was like, no, nothing will happen ever again. And Solaris was like, wait, no, Yaira, you don't need to do this. And then she was like, he was like, she was like, stay out of my way. And then he's like, basically, you need to relax. You know what I'm saying? And then, she blast freezes her. And then she's like, don't worry, she's alive but frozen. But she shouldn't be in any trouble. And then she's like, with good, here, of gesture is that you need to return this staff to Dr. Sally Rodell. And then she flies off. Then you see Dr. Rodell in her boat thinking about no, in her balcony thinking about Yashul, and then you see Cletos telling her like, thank you for everything, thank you for saving me. But Neptune will be mad and he will come for us. And you should be scared. And she's like, no, I'm not scared of him. So then you see I'm sorry. I don't know if you can kind of see it. I'm sorry. Because sometimes I forget where the cameras is because I'm trying to remember now. I'm trying to get all of this summarized for you guys. See right here. I know this is a little different or whatever because I really want to try to get as much out of this as much as I can because I know I'm a little lackluster on the reviews that I've been doing lately. So then we get to the void, the booming voids, and then you see all of these different people like they're watching Yaira, and it was like we're only getting started. So you see Magnus Pride, Magnus Merlin, Magnus Move, Magnus Brooklyn, Magnus Celine, and Magnus Zelite, where behind Magnus by Magnus Pipe. So you see this. So they're watching Yaira right here. So look, all of them, they're watching her, and they're like, "Don't worry, more is to come." Right? And then let me see. You see someone getting tortured. A woman in white is covered, and they go and talk to each other, and then she's like, this fight of the Forsaken Crystal, but soon they shall merge as one. And the Triton betrayed you, master. Indeed, it longs for its true master. An unforeseen thing, but Celine, I place no blame on anyone at all. Her, I know, is her arrival. Her gift for betrayal shall be pain for many of years set forth. And then you see Magnus Yajin transforms. I'm like, oh snap! And it looks like she. I mean, not she, but it's like Magnus Yajin is Neptune himself. But he also mentions that we will also take care of Zelene. I mean Zaylen, because the Zaylen book apparently is going to be affecting this too. So it'll be kind of great to see a crossover with Zaylen and Yaira, I guess. So that'll be really cool. And then um pretty much that's the reveal. The reveal is here's Neptune, bam. And they said the story will return. So that's pretty much it with Yaira number three. I mean, it's action packed. Like I said, for me, it's more. There's too many jumps to scenes without explaining, without showing the transition. It just kind of picks up after a lot, and not keeping these people's names, because again, you have to remember that everybody is coming in. People are coming in all the time. People are not going to start at number one, and even then, you need to place people's names. You need to place people's names in there so people are aware of these people, these characters. And if you're not going to do that, at least say their names several times over. Even in battle, you don't want to just have conversations and say that person's name, because you want the audience to keep remembering these names, especially when there's something brand new and it having its own myth and lore. You want to constantly have these characters' names being said as like a repetition, if that makes sense. But overall, I can't wait to see what Yaira number four is. I guess this is going to also tie into Zaylen. Like kills must die. So we'll see how that goes. But those are my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out, everybody. Uh oh. Uh oh. Uh oh. Okay. Peace out, everybody.